Eating is a social function. It has some aspect of culture on it.
We eat a lot of ugali, we eat a lot of vegetables, we eat a lot of beans. All these are among the major staples.
In an African setting, the girl child is always in the kitchen. So I learned to cook at a very early age.
Ugali is a must. You give certain tribes another food in the evening other than ugali, then you are in trouble.
It's the women who choose what type of food to eat, how to cook it, how to preserve it.
The tradition, the people, and the regions all accept ugali as the most important food.
Kwa kweli wateja wangu wengi wanapenda ugali. Sababu hapa wateja tunaowauzia wengi ni wamebeba mizigo, yani ni wanaume ambao wanafanya kazi. Kwa hiyo wengi wanakuambia wali hapana. Wao ni ugali ndio wanapendelea. Ugali and fish. Coming from the lakeside, that is one of our favorite foods. Any day in my house you cook fish, people will not have a problem. As long as the ugali is also what you're producing.
Ugali is made of maize flour. It is easier to cook ugali. It takes a short time. You just boil the water, put flour in the water and start cooking it. Within half an hour, you are done.
Limo kule ndo kimetawala. Kwa hiyo mtu anakuambia mimi nikila ugali huu laini naona haukai tumboni. Wanapenda ugali mgumu.
When we eat ugali, most of the time we sit in circles and we talk, we communicate. Women will eat with the small children, making sure that they take care of them, they train them. Good habits, that you don't shout, you don't play with food, you respect elders. The meal time was the best time to learn some aspects of life.
We like the white ugali, and if you bring, for example, yellow ugali, which happens in cases of extreme hunger and poverty like now, where they bring in yellow maize, a lot of people associate it with poverty, relief food, which they don't like.
Malnutrition is a main issue, especially in the low-income areas. You'll find that a family that lives below $1 a day would probably just afford one single meal. If they do so much, it would be 2 meals in a day, morning and evening. Sometimes even the 2 meals is next to impossible. So they'll do very basic meals. They'll do what we call ugali with sukuma wiki. Sukuma wiki is a vegetable. You discover that in between these meals, they don't get enough nutrients.
Malnutrition can be manifested in 2 ways, either excessive intake of certain nutrients or poor access to some of the critical micronutrients of interest, leading to what you call undernutrition. Starvation is extreme deficiency of food or calories, leading to collapse of organs or even to death. So starvation could be an extreme case of undernutrition. Quite a number of factors actually contribute to malnutrition, and the first one is poor access of food of good quality. The second most important factor is disease. In some other cases, it's poor knowledge on what to eat and cultures, which lead to overemphasis of certain foods while overlooking some others. poor nutrition of mothers is also a big factor, particularly in child malnutrition.
So what we've done, and it's also mandatory in Kenya, flour millers have to incorporate vitamins and minerals in their product. So of course, this is to help cap malnutrition in families that can barely afford to balance their meals.
There is no one single bullet of adding micronutrients, but if you really come to mass fortification, reaching to large populations within a short time, the most effective is fortification by industry. We started with each of the countries making their own fortification standard based on the public health needs of the country. We've established what we call the East African standards to reflect the entire East African region.
In the marginalized areas in Kenya, you find that people are totally starved, completely malnourished. The community that is next to our factory is a low-income area. By providing them with flour that is nutritive, we are sure that they are able to get the basic nutrients that are required to curb malnutrition. The Kenyan market is really cutthroat. It's very competitive. Most of the time, the decision by the consumer is price-oriented. All they look at is how much are they able to save when they buy this particular brand other than buy this. Usually, the nutritional additions and the values doesn't really come to mind. But the moment they buy and they realize that this particular brand is what works for them, you get to see the people consuming the product are much more energetic, they are happy, they are productive, the children are healthy. So yes, it feels good.
Kifupi naweza nikasema mimi ni single mother. Kwa sababu tulikuwa tukienda kwenye kliniki, maana mimi ni mama wa watoto. Manesi wanatufundisha. Na haswa pale unapokuwa mjamzito unatakiwa ule vitu vyenye vitamini A, vitamini B, yani wanakueleza jinsi vile vitamini vinavyokuwa vinasaidia nini mwilini na hata ule mtoto ambaye yuko tumboni mwako. Kwa hiyo ndio maana mimi nikahamasika hata kwenye biashara yangu nitumie unga.
When we talk about the elimination of malnutrition, the key player is a woman. The women really the workers and providers of food in the homestead.
I have employed 20 women. Kenyan women are always looking for something to do to be able to fend for their families. And every day when I get in, I'll always find ladies by the gate asking to be employed. So my dream of having a bigger factory producing much more has that in the back of my mind, that I'd be able to help as many women as possible. I know I can decide to use a machine to pack, but then again, I'm looking at just the number of women who want to be empowered. I say, that is a dream, it will come at some point. But as long as I'm still able to use human resource to do my packing, I'd rather employ the women. Of course, they say empower a woman and you've empowered the community.
The technology for fortification is increasingly becoming common. The biggest issue right now is the small scale. But I would say Sanku has come with the technology which is sound, which has been tested and which can be used for armor milling within the country, giving us now a chance to explore small-scale fortification as an added advantage.
What we have done at Sanku with the dosifier, we have essentially built this technology that can be put on a hammer mill, and that hammer mill is in a remote location somewhere in Morogoro. The people who buy from that remote mill, for example, in that community, would never have had access to fortified flour. Because of this technology, the dosifier, now we are able to reach the other additional 95% of the population with fortified flour.
Ni mkulima na ni mfanyabiashara. Kwa jina jingine naitwa Mama Tunu, jina maarufu. Nazalisha unga huu wenye virutubisho. Hapana, nikiamka asubuhi nangoja kijana anafungua mashineni. Naangalia, tunaacha milango kwa ajili ya kupokea wateja, na kama kuna kazi ya kufanya tunafanya, tunasindika unga, tunabana, tunaweka.
The dosifier machine is actually quite simple. It automates the addition of these life-saving nutrients into the flour that everybody eats. And because our mills are located so remotely, we have them connected to the internet. So we always know when that machine needs repair, or if we have to visit that mill to restock the mill with flour bags and those key nutrients.
Wale kuja kuleta mashine, kibiashara ilibadilika. Biashara iliweza kutambulika. Na wateja nikapata na nikafanya vizuri. Jamii inapokea, lakini inakuwa na maswali mengine. Kwamba hii ni kwa ajili ya nini? Kwa nini umeweka hii mashine? Kwanza hawajui kwamba mle nani hii ni nini, mna nini. Wanauliza hii mashine hii ni nini kilichoweka hapo juu. Ndio unaanza kuelekeza.
Technology has allowed the farmer today to be a smart farmer, and many more farmers are embracing technology.
We're seeing increasing interest from small-scale millers to fortify. The issue of small-scale farming is we depend entirely on rain-fed agriculture. This is a big problem. We're seeing extreme weather conditions due to climate change, leading to poor yields, and in some cases, poor access to some of the nutrients within the food system.
Ilikuwa changamoto kubwa, tena kubwa kabisa, sio kidogo. Sasa zitaanza kunyesha kwa sababu ile tuliwahi ile mvua ya kubahatisha. Maana ningekuwa nimeshapata haya, saizi ilikuwa ya kuvuna. Umeona njiani mle mwana mengine yamekauka. Kwa hiyo huku na toa, huku na alima. Inakuwa shilingi ngapi? Ni hela nyingi imepotea sana. Yaani hela nyingi.
A lot of technology is being developed by the West. It is necessary to developing technology within our own countries, and that would make us more independent and decide how to improve our agriculture.
Now we are able to monitor the amount of premix we use and how much we are adding onto the flour. And of course, that is a plus because initially we could not be able to tell. We had a machine that was not very stable, but with the Sanku machine, which is digitized, we can now tell exactly how much we've used within the day. And also apart from that, the cost of premix has been subsidized for us. So we are not getting it at the market rate, but at least Sanku covers part of the cost and we do just a bit of it.
In order for the miller to fortify, they would need a dosifier, they would need premix, and then they would need the bag. Our model essentially allows the miller to be able to access the premix at the price of the bag. We ordered the bags in bulk by buying in bulk at a bigger margin. That margin allows us to be able to offset the cost of the premix for the miller, and we are able to scale faster.
So that has really helped in the sense that apart from cost reduction on production from our end, we are also able to just know how much we are producing and supplying to the community.
Technology has been transformational in ensuring that we have more people eat healthy or access the folic acid and the zinc and the iron, which we're doing with the dosifier. Anything we do is going to be used in Tanzania, will be used in Kenya, will be used in the third and fourth and fifth countries. And so we do not have additional cost on the technology side because we've invested in those tools early on. And then it's just economies of scale by bringing in more countries into that equation.
Yani jinsi najikuta nina amani na biashara yangu, na confidence na biashara yangu. Yani najua nini nafanya kitu ambacho huwa nakifurahia wateja wangu. Kwa hiyo najikuta mimi nina furaha na biashara yangu muda wote.
To know you're doing the right thing, you're doing something to help a child or a mother somewhere, there's just that satisfaction that apart from doing what is expected by the government, you're also not selling people something that is going to be of no use, non-beneficial or harmful.
The meal time was the best time to learn some aspects of life. That's where we learned stories, cultures told by the elders. We are still celebrating the cultural dishes, and I think it will take a long time before they completely vanish.
We are now feeding 5.1 million people with fortified flour. We're looking at 17 million in 2025. That to me is impactful work. It's humbling.